If we go to the MDN docs, so if we talk about the JavaScript, so something is written which I seriously don't understand. JavaScript is lightweight, interpreted, or just-in-time compiled programming language with first-class functions. I don't know what is written over here. So if we want to understand about JavaScript in like layman terms or basic language. So I took an example yesterday of a building. So once again, I'll repeat that example. So if you are creating a building, so the columns and beams are the HTML, the paint and the plaster and everything is the CSS, which makes the building look good. Now we have to automate some things in our building. Let's say we have to install a lift, we have to automate some stuff. So uh, so for that, we have to use JavaScript to automate something, to change something. Let's say we want to change the color of the building. Uh, so we can use the JavaScript for that. We'll look how to change that. And so okay, before that, let's talk about DOM. So if we talk about DOM, the full form of DOM is Document Object Model. Now, what is a document object model? A document object model is something which browser renders when it gets HTML. So let's say you have created a HTML web page and you are opening it in a browser, and what browser will do is that it creates a tree-like structure which is called DOM of your elements and render it on as a web page. Okay, so it's a DOM basically. Now, what JavaScript does is that we can manipulate the DOM, the HTML, using JavaScript. And if we talk about the history of JavaScript, so JavaScript was very first known as LiveScript, but a company called Netscape changed its name to JavaScript, possibly because of the excitement of being generated by Java, something like that. But JavaScript it is not associated with Java. So some of you guys may have misconception about that. So these two are totally different things, Java and JavaScript. Okay, so let's start with creating a simple web page. So let me create a web page called index.html here, and I'll write a basic HTML. My first web page is the title of the page. I'll be creating a h1 tag. In this, I'll be writing, hello, my name is Devesh. Pretty good. And now let me open this page and it should look like this. Great, great. Now, uh, if we now want to apply JavaScript here, so I guess Adin gave you some basic rough idea about how to add JavaScript, an overview of that. But let's have a look at that. Before that, let's create another file called script.js. Okay, this will be our JavaScript file, and to include it in our HTML page, what we have to do is that either we can include it inside head or we can include it here somewhere below the body. So it is advisable to include your script at the bottom of your HTML so that uh, you won't face any issues, since the HTML is rendered from top to bottom. So if there is any error in your JavaScript, your page will not be rendered. So we'll give a source and we'll write script.js. Okay. And to check if it's working fine, we can write a console log. I'll tell you what is a console log if you don't know. Script loaded. I have written a console log here. So if we go here, inspect the element, inspect it, go to the console, and we get script loaded. So our script is working fine. Our integration of our JavaScript file is working fine. So this is one kind of integration of JavaScript in your HTML page. You can do it in the same file as well using the script tag. You can write your JavaScript here. You can write anything like console.log inside HTML, something like that. It will also work. Yeah, so inside HTML, this will be also working. So for console log, what this is a method to log something from your JavaScript. It is only visible in the console, in developer console in your browser, which is available in most of the browsers, I guess. I don't know about the Internet Explorer, but most of the browsers have their own developer consoles, and it is visible over here. Okay. So we have successfully integrated the script. Now let's see what we can do with JavaScript. So uh, let's say I have this particular sentence written over here, which is, hello, my name is Devesh. Let's say I want to change the name from Devesh to, let's say, Adin. Okay. So one approach is to go in my HTML and change the name, right? So it gets changed pretty easy. But what if I don't want to change the, you know, I don't want to change the HTML. I want to change it dynamically using JavaScript. So how can I do that? So for that we have some we have some DOM manipulation methods. So to manipulate the DOM, this is a DOM. DOM is document object model, as I told you. So this is a document. The browser treats this web page as a document, and it has created a model, and we have a h1 tag over here, uh, and it has some HTML written. It has some text written over here. So if I want to change the text of it, so what can I do is that I'll go with in my script.js. What I'll do is that I'll take a variable. We'll come to the variables after some time. So let me take a variable, and so I have a document, as I told you, and in this particular document I have some of the methods available. As you can see, I have create element, get element by ID, body, query selector, and multiple methods, right? So most of the methods are clearly understandable by their name. So if we talk about get element by ID, so it states that getting some element using ID. So I guess you all remember the yesterday's lecture about the IDs and classes, right? So we can manipulate the DOM using IDs, using classes, even using the tags. We'll do it one by one. So let's first look how we can manipulate the DOM using IDs. So we have this h1 tag over here. What we can do is that we can give it a unique ID. So let's say name ID. Let's say name ID. So it is a unique. It doesn't no other element have this particular ID. So what we can do is that we can take this ID, and since it's a function and it takes a parameter, so this get element by ID function takes a parameter which is the ID. It's a string, right? So what it does is that it searches the document, and whatever wherever it finds the ID, it will return us an element. Okay. So if we console log this element, if we console log this element, we must have got the h1 tag, which is this. And if you hover over it, it is also highlighting. So this is how we can get HTML using JavaScript. I hope till now everyone is with me. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Sir, can you please reload the script?
Can I please reload the script? Do you want me to refresh?
Screen.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So everyone is with me yet till now, right? Okay. Okay. So what I did is that I have used a DOM manipulation method called getElementById, and I have provided the ID, passed the ID, and I got it. I got the whole element in my variable. Okay. 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 Just give me a second. Yeah. Now, what if, let's say, I want to change this whole text from hello, name is Devesh to hello, my name is Adin. So what I can do is that I have a method called inner HTML. Okay. So what I can do is that I can write element dot inner HTML equals to hello, my name is Adin. Now, when I save it, it should have been changed. Yeah, it is changed, right? So I haven't changed my HTML. I haven't gone through my HTML. I am doing it with JavaScript. I am manipulating my document, my HTML, just using JavaScript, nothing else. So this is how JavaScript works. This is the beauty of JavaScript. Like you don't have to do anything with the HTML. You can do it with dynamically using a script, using a JS file, writing a script or something like that. So this is one of the method to manipulate the inner HTML. So this is a HTML. We have to manipulate it. So we'll write inner HTML. Okay. Now now we are in the browser. We are looking at the browser. So whatever we are doing here in this document is a kind of action, is a kind of event. Browser emits event when we do something. So let's say if you have a button and you click it, it is an event, right? So it's an click event. If you hover somewhere, so let's say I hover over this text, so it's an event. So browser emits events, something like that. So we have to capture that those events to work accordingly. So let's take an example of a event. So in our HTML, let's create a button and give it a ID. Let's say btn, and give it a text called click me. Okay. Well and good. And okay, now uh, so I have written a function which whose name is click me. I've given the parentheses and curly braces. What is a function? So if we talk about function, so function is basically a piece of code which performs a particular task. So whatever we write inside it, and we have to call it. Okay. So once we call it, it will perform whatever is written inside it. So if we write console.log click and we call this function somewhere, so it should do whatever it is, whatever it is written inside it, right? So if I click on this and yeah, so I'll get clicked as I have called it over here. So what I'll do is that I'll call this function when I click on this button. We have a button here. Eh, right now if I click on it, I am not getting anything, right? But let's say if I want to, when I am clicking it, I want to show some console log, I want to show some name, some text here, somewhere here. So how can I do that? So for that, what we'll do is that we have created a function which will console log, which will print something, let's say button clicked. Okay. And and now how to attach this function to this particular button. So as I said, before that we have some events and we have to handle those events. We have to capture those events. So we have an event called on click. As the name suggests, when we click on something, so it is a event and it is an on click event, right? So in this particular on click event, what we will do is that we will pass a function. So our function name is click me. uh, Let me check it once. Yeah, click me. So now what I'll do, what we can do is that if I click over here, I should get a console log which called button click. So if I click, we are getting button click. So our function is working fine. Our click event we capturing is working fine. So this is how we capture a event. This is how we handle a event. So this is one of the event which is on click. So uh, let's say we have to perform some action on the hover of it. So hover means if I put my mouse on this text, I have to perform some stuff. Okay, so let's do that and then I'll explain how I'm doing it. So if I take a span and color, okay, and I am giving it a ID of let's say span 1. Mm, Yellow. Okay. Okay, so what I did here is that I have created two functions. One is for mouse hover in and one is called mouse hover out. And what I did here is that I use the same method, which is get element by ID. I provided the ID of that particular span, and I am applying a style using JavaScript. So what I did is that dot style dot color. I want to change the color of that particular span to red on mouse hover in, and uh, if something is some other event on some other event, I'll change the color to from red to yellow. Okay, now to handle this event, what we have to do is that we have to write on mouse over, and same as the on click, we have to call a function. So let's say we'll call a mouse hover in function when we hover on our text. Okay, so let's test this once. Okay, so let me change the font size as well so that you will get a good view. Oh, I guess something is wrong. Okay, let me just it. It should work. Mm, okay, I guess there is some issue. No problem. Mm, we can do it from here. Font size. We can apply a font size of 80 pixel, let's say. So we get this. Okay, now let me refresh it once. So we have a basic color of black. Now we have written a mouse over event. So if I hover my mouse on this particular color, so we'll see what happens. So the color changes, right? The color has changed, but nothing is happening when when I'm hovering out my mouse from the text. So we have written another function for that, which is mouse hover out. So let's say we want to handle that as well. So we have another event called mouse on mouse out, and inside that we'll pass our next function, which will change the color from red to yellow. Okay. Now, if I hover it, I am getting color red. If I hover out, I am getting color yellow. Now red, yellow, red, yellow. So this is how we handle events, right? So we have a click event. So if we click, we are getting a console log. Uh, if we are hovering, uh, we are changing the color, right? Okay, okay, great. So any questions still yet? Okay. So next is that let's say we haven't provided an ID to any particular element. Let's say we have an element called uh, paragraph, and this is a paragraph. Okay, and we haven't provided any ID to it, and we have to change the text of this particular paragraph. We have to change from this is paragraph to this is second paragraph, something like that. Now how can we do that? So we have another method which is called get elements by tag name. So what we can do is that we can create a variable. We can take a variable element and same document dot get elements by tag name, and we have to pass the tag for which we have to get the value. So our tag is the paragraph tag, so we'll pass p. And let's say if I console log paragraph element, so I should get the element, right? Okay, I am getting something which is called HTML collection, and inside that I am getting a p, right? So if I hover on that particular p, I am getting the paragraph tag. So the difference here is that if you use the get elements by tag name, there can be multiple elements, like in our case there can be multiple paragraph tags in our web page, right? So it provides us a array which has some indexes. So on 0th index we get the paragraph tag. If we had multiple paragraph tags, so we must have gotten the list of it. Okay. So if you want to change the text of this particular thing, so what I'll do is that paragraph element 0 dot inner HTML equals to this is a second paragraph. Okay, it should change. Yeah, it is changed. So this is how we can do it. If we don't have IDs, we can do it for using the what we can say element, the tag. So as the name suggests, get elements by tag name, but you have to specify, like I have specified that the element which is on the 0th index, the first index, I want to change the inner HTML of that. If if you don't write this, you get error. Oh, okay, you don't get any error, but you can't see the changes as well. Okay, so you have to specify where do you have to change. So this is change. Okay, nice. Any questions till yet? Okay. Now let's say uh, we have seen how we can change the HTML, how we can manipulate the DOM using IDs, using tag name. Now let's say you have a specific class name which is applied on your multiple elements in your document. Okay, so let's say we have a span. Okay, span and we call it span 1. Okay, and we have added a class called span class to apply some CSS. We have to apply same CSS to both the spans. So we have created a class and we have applied a class to it. Okay, now let's say we have to change the stuff inside this first span, from span 1 to span some other name. Okay, so how we can do is that either we can do it by tag name, which is really simple. Now if you want to, let's say if you want to do it from by using class name, so what we'll do is that we'll use a method called document dot get elements by class name, and we have to provide the name of our class, which is span class. Now if I console log it, i should I should get the same thing, right? Since we have multiple elements and same class is applied on the multiple elements, so we get a list of it as we are getting in the get element by tag name. So if we hover over it, so this is our first span, this is our second span. Right, so this is our first span, this is our second span. So let's say we have to change the text of the span 1 to some other text. So what we'll do is that we can get span element. We have to specify the uh, place. So it's a 0th index. So it's the first element. I'm writing 0 because we are using arrays. We'll play with arrays in upcoming lectures. So for now, just understand that in an array, 0 is the first element. Okay. So same thing, inner HTML. This is first span. Now, if I save it, the text should get changed. Yeah. So our text has changed. This is our this is first span. So let's say I want to change the second span as well. So what I'll do is that I'll just copy paste this line here. I'll change the index from 0 to 1 since it's the second span, and I'll write second span. This is also changed, right? So this is how we can manipulate the DOM using, we have seen that we can manipulate it using the ID. If we have the ID of that particular element, if we don't have ID, if you want to manipulate using tag name, so if you want to manipulate, let's say paragraph, so you can manipulate it. If you want to change using class, so you can do it with class as well. So uh, we have seen what is JavaScript, how to add JavaScript in your HTML, and how what is DOM, what is a document, uh, what are events. So we have used multiple events like on click, on mouse hover, on mouse out. We have seen uh, how to manipulate the HTML using JavaScript, using IDs, using tags, using class names. So till now, if anyone has any doubts, so you can ask. No doubts? Okay. Okay. So uh, meanwhile, you can have a look at the day 3 code. It is visible for only 1 minute, so you can screenshot, make a screenshot, take a note of it.
Okay, so today we have made a change in the form
Mhm.
since because there was an issue in creating the attendance, compiling the attendance. We faced a lot of issues yesterday. Okay, so you have to enter the same email ID you have used to sign in this meeting. Okay, like if you have signed with xyz@gmail.com in the Zoom meeting, just enter the same ID in the form too. Okay, else the attendance may get compromised, so that would be not a good thing for you guys only. So just keep that in mind. Rest, it's fine. Day code is in front of you. It will be displayed for a minute. After that, we'll be continuing with our the session. Okay. Thank you so much.
So last 10 seconds for the code. If you haven't took the screenshot, you can take the screenshot or note it somewhere. Okay. So let's take some questions from the chat. Probably. Mm, how can we change the text when someone refreshes the page using Dome? Okay. How can you change the text when someone refreshes the page? Please explain how indexing works. Okay. 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 So, for indexing, I'll give a like an overview of the indexing. Okay. So if we work on array, so like array starts with the zeroth index. So let's say you have an array of let's say three. You have three items in an array. So how we'll count is that we'll count from 0, 1, and 2. But we'll look for we'll go through the array in our future in our next lectures. So you can read about it more if you have like if you want to get a good knowledge about it. And let's take the questions related to the events. Events are already defined. Okay. What is the difference between ID and class? Okay, so I guess Adeen has explained it yesterday about what is an ID and what is a class. Let me explain it once again. Uh, Let me share my screen. Okay, so for any particular HTML element, we have an ID which uniquely define, which is used to uniquely define it, uniquely identify that particular tag or element. So let's say here I have provided this h1 tag and ID called name dash ID. So it should be unique. Uh, so ID is used for identifying it. Okay, and if we talk about classes, so class is basically used to apply the styling. Okay, so let's say you want to apply the same styling in multiple elements. So let's say you have multiple h1 elements in your document, in your HTML document. Okay, and you want to apply same styling in all of that. So first approach is to write using the h1, using the ID. you can either use ID, but it should be unique for every element. So what we can do is write that we can write a class, we can write elements, we can write the our CSS inside that class, and we can assign that class to the elements in which we want to show, we want to change the styling. Okay, so like this. So we have a keyword, we have attribute called class, and we can write a class name here. So this is how we can do it. Okay. Okay, what is the difference between span and p tag? Okay, so span and p tag doesn't have any, like, it doesn't have any major differences. So if we talk about the p tag is basically called a paragraph tag. So it is just a tag to, it has a predefined styling for a paragraph which is written in your document. And if we talk about span, P starts with new line and span continues here. Yeah. So there is a concept called block and inline. So there's a concept called block and inline. If I guess Adin told you about that yesterday. So inline block element is that it takes the full width of your page. So let's say if I go over here, so if I hover here, so you can see that it is taking the full width of my page. This is a paragraph tag, right? It's a block element. And if we talk about the span, it's an inline element. So it takes the space, it takes only that much space which is needed by it. Okay, so let's say if we want to, if we have a really big paragraph, so it will not take the whole line. It will not take the whole block. It will just take the, it will fit itself into the space, and rest space will be covered by other elements. So this is kind of the major difference between paragraph and span. Yeah. Why we use span tag? We There is no such issue to not to use span or span. It is just like if you use span tag, it doesn't comes with any predefined styling. So if you go for and the thing which I explained right now is that the paragraph takes the whole block, nor and the span takes the space which is like how much space it is needed. It takes only that much space. So this is the difference. That's why we have to use the span. Yes.
And if I can give another example, let's say you have a paragraph of text, and within that text you have a name, and you want that name to be highlighted. So in order to give a separate style to just that part of text, you can include it within a span tag, and it would make it easier for you to apply any style that you want to it. So these are some use cases where you can use a span tag.
Okay. So now mostly developers are using ECMAScript. Okay, so ECMAScript is version of JavaScript. So we'll learn about ECMAScript tomorrow. When someone visits the page. Arpit, we can do it using JavaScript, yes. So Arpit asked a question that when someone visits the page for the first time, they should see a text with some different style. And when they refresh the page, they should see a different text with some different style. And this style can be constant. Can we do it using JavaScript? Yes, we can do it with JavaScript. But um, you have to store your styling somewhere which doesn't get affected using the when you refresh the page, right? Can you show us how JS plays a role in forms? Okay. So if we talk about forms, so to apply the validations in the form, we can use JavaScript. Uh, let me try to show it. Just give me a minute. Okay. So let's say we have an input which is of type text. Okay. We got the input here, and let's say we want whatever we are writing. Let's say I'm writing Devesh here, and I want the Devesh to be console logged here. Okay. So how I can do is that I can either assign an ID. Okay. Input 1. I can go here. I can console log document dot get element. Input 1 dot value. Okay, let's see what is happening. Okay, it is not working. Dot value. Input 1 IDs. Okay, it's not working. Probably I'm doing some silly mistake.
Call it in the on-click function.
Yeah, just on click. Yeah. So if I click, I'm still not getting why. What is the issue?
Sir, you haven't logged in the console.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Now I should get it. Yes, I'm getting Devesh. So whatever I type here, I'll get it when I click on the event, right? You can either you can either take the the input which you are writing. You can either show an alert box if something is wrong. We'll do it when we'll work on the React part. When we start React, we'll apply some validations to our code. So then we'll see how we can apply the validations using JavaScript there. Okay. So any other questions?
Sir, can we send an email create a contact email using JavaScript?
Can we create a contact email?
Contact form that sends the email.
Contact
admin.
form that sends the email. Yeah, we can create it.
using
That
JavaScript
sense,
only.
yeah, you can create you have to create a backend for it, which will call an API to send an email. So
Yes,
you
sir.
have to do that so we can do it with JavaScript. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.